Hey guys, it's Miss Markham
and Mrs. Curl,
and today we are comparing and ordering integers.
All right, look, we have at the top of our page, we've glued in a number line.
And we're going to kind of make a couple of notes on that number line. First thing is looking at those numbers and seeing that as we move from the left to the right, and it's really obvious with those positive numbers, as we move to the right, my numbers get bigger. And it's the same thing on this side. As I move from -20 to -10, my numbers are still increasing or getting larger. So we're going to draw that arrow going from left to right and right increasing.
And again, that works the same way in the opposite direction. So if I go right to left, and that means if I start over here at 16 and I go down to 6, or if I start here at 8 and go down to -18, I am decreasing. My numbers are getting smaller.
So we're going to draw an arrow to the left and right, decreasing.
All right, so we have a couple of notes that we would like for you to take. So pause the video and get this copied down.
All right, so this word inequality, you've probably seen these symbols before.
Definitely.
But maybe not heard that term inequality. So an inequality is a statement that two quantities are not equal. And so this symbol right here, it kind of looks like that alligator that's opening up. It means less than.
So that means whatever's on this side is less than or smaller than what's on this side of the symbol. So let's write an example like that.
So like 2 is less than 5.
And 2 is smaller than 5. You're just comparing those two numbers. And on the opposite of that, we have this symbol, which is the opposite direction, and that means greater than.
So for example, 8 is greater than 1.
And that means larger than. 8 is larger than 1. And we know, guys, there's lots of different fun things that elementary school teachers have told you about, you know, the alligator or something eating something else. But we want to make sure you understand what the words mean, that we're talking about less than, smaller than, which goes back to our number line. -2 is less than 6. It's smaller than 6.
All right, we're going to compare some numbers using that greater than and less than sign. And there's the easiest way to do it, especially if I'm looking at negative numbers, is to look at the number line. Now, if we compare a -3, so if I go to my number line, a -3, oh wait, I don't see a -3 on here.
Ooh.
If you look at that number line, it's counting by 2's. So in between a -2 and a -4 is going to be that -3.
And
So
why don't I hold, are you going to write it
I'll
on
go ahead and
there?
write a -3, but if you want to hold that pencil there so that we can see it.
So here we go. That's our -3, so I'm going to put that spot there.
And then my next number is a 4, so I've got it right here. So if I look, -3 is to the left of that 4, so -3 is less than 4. And guys, let me give you a big hint. A negative number, if you look at your number line, all the negative numbers are to the left of the positive numbers. So if you're comparing a negative number and a positive number, you're always going, that negative number is always going to be smaller than the positive number.
Absolutely. But now the second example that we're looking at, -5 and -1, those are both negative. So again, let's find that on my number line. Oh, again, look, I don't see a -1, Mrs. Markham.
So that -1 is going to go right here. So I've got -1.
In between 0 and -2. So again, I'm going to hold that little pencil there so we see that spot.
And -5 is going to fall between, just like 5 falls between 4 and 6, -5 is going to fall between -4 and -6. So I've got -5 is to the left of that -1. So -5 is less than -1.
That's right. It is smaller than -1.
Now what if I have numbers and they're too big to go on that number line? So I've got a -64 and oh, what does that symbol there mean, Miss
Oh,
Girl?
I remember we've done that a few days ago. It's absolute value of 28. So I need to figure out what the absolute value of 28 is first. What is the absolute value of 28?
Well, absolute value means that distance away from 0. And so 28 is 28 units away from 0. So I'm just going to write a 28 here. So really what I'm comparing is a -64 and a +28.
And that's not on my number line.
But if I remember, since it's got those arrows on it, that number line keeps going forever and ever and ever. So if I visually see, I'm going to think 28 is going to be a little bit past that 20,
Yes.
but 64 is going to be way over at the end of my desk.
Well, it's negative.
Oh, it's negative 64. Oh, so wait, I'm comparing a negative number and a positive number. So I know that negative 64 is going to be way over on this left side.
That's right.
So negative 64 is going to be less than that positive 28.
All right, so now we have two problems that we want you to try on your own. So copy these two problems down and stop your video, solve it, and then turn it back on when you have your answers and check them. All right, so I have negative 7 and 2.
Oh.
Negative 7 is less than 2, and that one is on our number line. So again, we can see that negative 7 is right there, and 2 is there, and I have a positive and a negative number. The next one is negative 12 and negative 19.
So if I look, I would have negative 12 here, negative 19 here, so negative 12 is further to the right, so it is greater than negative 19.
That's right.
All right, so there we were comparing just two numbers. Now if we are comparing or ordering numbers, this asks me to order temperatures from coldest to warmest. Now, Miss Curl, if it's colder temperatures, are those my larger numbers or my smaller numbers?
My smaller numbers. The
Okay.
colder it is, the smaller.
So I am going from least to greatest.
And guys, you have to understand this part. And I always recommend box it, underline it on your problems, or if you're taking a test, because I can't tell you how many times I've had mistakes where people do this greatest to least instead of least to greatest, right? And that answer is always going to be one of your choices.
So now when we're comparing, and we've got positive and negative numbers, what I like to do, if I'm going least to greatest, I'm going to start with the least numbers, which are going to be those negative numbers.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to kind of just line or separate my negative numbers and my positive numbers.
So negative 3 and negative 4 degrees.
And a negative 2.
Oh, I missed the negative 2. See, thank you for catching that.
So the one that's going to be further to the left, because that's where my smaller numbers are, is going to be negative 4. So I'm going to have negative 4 as my coldest. And then next after negative 4 is negative 3. And then I have a negative 2. Now I'm going to look and make sure, okay, I've got negative 4, I've got negative 3, and negative 2. Now when I look at my other temperature, I have 0 and 2.
And those are positive numbers, so we know 0 comes next, and then 2. Now watch Miss Markham, she's going to count these, because she's going to count
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And she gets 5 in both, just to double check, because again, guys, the second place that the number one mistake is you leave a number off. So be very, very careful and make sure you have them all. Let's try another one with numbers that might not be on that number line.
And we're going to still put these in order from coldest to warmest. I don't have degree symbols on here, but they are supposed to be temperatures.
All right, so let's start again.
Really cold temperatures.
Yeah, these are like Michigan temperatures. So let's pull these negative numbers out first. I don't even think Michigan got this cold.
And I'm going ahead and writing those positive numbers this time.
So she's separating them into two columns, her column of negative numbers and her column of positive numbers. All right, so looking at those negative numbers, which one is the furthest away from 0?
Well, negative 65 is farther away from 0 than the other one, so that's going to be my smallest number.
And then I would have negative 55, and then negative 13. And really, the negative numbers kind of go opposite to how the positive numbers do. So just kind of keep that in your mind. And then we know 7 and 34.
That warm, warm temperature of 34 degrees.
And again, we're going to count real fast and make sure we have all of them. And we have 5, so we have them all. All right, so we want you guys to try this one on your own. So pause the video. That's negative 18, negative 12, negative 8, 3, and 16, and all those are degrees. So try that one on your own. All right, so Mrs. Markham, we can see our coldest is negative 18, and then negative 12. Oh, look, Mrs. Markham, these are in order from coldest to greatest, aren't they?
How nice of us.
Yeah, they already are all in order.
So check those out. Make sure you have those correct. And if not, kind of look and try to, all of these numbers are on your number line, so kind of look in where they were on the number line and see where you may have made your mistake. So one of the biggest things I see is that we reverse those negative numbers because we are looking at this as an 18, not a negative 18.
All right, so here are some practice problems for you to try on your own. And again, on these first two, we want you to use that less than or greater than symbol. So number 1 is negative 557 and negative 553. And number 2 is the absolute value. Those are two straight lines, the absolute value of negative 16 and 12. And then
you're going to order from least to greatest: 45, negative 62, negative 91, negative 72, and 23. So you're going to have to picture those on a number line. I don't think you're going to want to draw a number line that goes all the way out to those numbers.
No. All right, guys, have a great day.